heaven has been silently witnessing the pain that your heart is experiencing, my beloved, my heavenly child of promised golden wealth. However, this is no longer the case. Because Archangel Michael is breaking the stillness with a fire that is too loud for your soul to ignore today, August 5th, because he is breaking the hush. You have been turned against. You have been left with questions that have not been answered. However, now that individual is returning, shaking with desperation and still concealing something from you. Moreover, the secret alters everything in the world. Before it is too late, you should open this. I want you to know that you were never supposed to carry so much grief for such a long time, my chosen one. You did, however. Despite everything, you continued to love. But you continued to have hope. Even when no one was paying attention, you continued to mumble expressions of forgiveness. Is it a coincidence that I am sending you this message right now? It is one of the divine laws of the universe. Yes, it is the law of attraction. Before moving on to the message, please like the video so that this message can reach other people as well, my dear. You must also receive and accept this message with love. If you write "I received and accepted it with love" in the comments and seal it with 687, you will maintain the balance of giving and receiving. Additionally, heaven is watching who responds. You will find a super thanks button below this video. When you donate $22 or more, you are not tipping a creator. You are planting a heavenly seed. And Archangel Michael promises, every divine seed bears divine fruit. Support the awakening. Heaven remembers those who do this. Don't forget to stay tuned and subscribe for our other messages, adds Archangel Michael. Now we can slowly move on to his message. However, heaven is currently listening. The skies have moved in order to honor you since God witnessed everything. Before we go any further, if you feel even a tiny tremor in your spirit as you are reading this, it represents heaven has been silently witnessing the pain that your heart is experiencing, my beloved, my heavenly child of promised golden wealth. However, this is no longer the case. Because Archangel Michael is breaking the stillness with a fire that is too loud for your soul to ignore today, August 5th, because he is breaking the hush. You have been turned against. You have been left with questions that have not been answered. The presence of your angels in the vicinity. Try not to scroll. Do not pass up. You should not share what you are reading with anybody else since this communication will disappear after its intended goal has been accomplished. And if it vanishes before you have the opportunity to fully open your heart to it, the person who is ready to enter your life will come to you with a new appearance. You did indeed read that correctly. It is getting closer. It was not because they had a change of heart. Rather, it was because Archangel Michael whispered your name into their restless dreams. After waking up, they were troubled by your recollection, your eyes, and the things that they had lost. On the other hand, they continue to conceal a portion of the truth. The component that has the power to either totally cure you or completely shatter you as a whole again. Because of this, you are instructed to open this right now. Sparkles, please take a brief pause for a moment. In the event that this message has already had even a little impact on your spirit, Sparkles, you should make it a point to subscribe so that you will never again miss out on these wonderful updates. There is a purpose for your presence here. Your miracle is dependent on the events that take place during the next few hours. Please continue reading and stay with me. This scroll is currently being unfolded solely for your benefit in heaven. Do you recall the last time you bawled your eyes out in your room by yourself, asking God to explain why you were crying? Do you know why they did that? When you were nothing but pure, why did they betray you for their own benefit? Without any sense of closure, without any truth, and without any justice, why did they leave? This is a moment that God remembers. During that night, Archangel Michael was standing next to you. And even though you believed that no one was listening to your cries, the heavens were holding your tears like jewels. Never once were they thrown away. However, events transpired the previous evening. In the world of the godly, something became different. The person who broke you in the past is now broken themselves. However, this is not due to feelings of regret or guilt. The reason for this is that they witnessed something that they were not supposed to see, such as a sign, a vision, or a warning. It manifested itself in a dream that was filled with brightness and fire. In addition, your face was the focal point of it. You who are blazing while standing in a white robe. I didn't see any tears in your eyes. Their bodies were ablaze with a fire that they were unable to comprehend. At that very instant, they had an epiphany. There was more to you than just a person from their past. You have been selected. This, however, is what Archangel Michael says. Take wary, since even though they are returning, they are still concealing their identity by wearing a mask. And the only thing that will assist you in removing it is divine discernment. If your heart begins to race, you should not become anxious. And it is not fear. This constitutes a spiritual confirmation. Despite the fact that your body is aware of what your soul has long since recalled, which is that this someone is coming back, they have only admitted half of the truth. The other half, on the other hand, is darker. It is more deep. What they did to you is not the only thing that matters. What they did behind your back is the crux of the matter. Archangel Michael answered, "The betrayal was not a one-time occurrence. No, my beloved, it ran deeper. There were whispers in places you never entered. Your name was passed around like currency among those who smiled in your presence at any given moment. But when you turned your back on them, they exchanged your innocence for attention, your loyalty for laughter, and your truth for secrets. And yet, you never exposed them. You let heaven handle it. And now heaven is moving. Archangel Michael is standing at your gate right now, his sword drawn and his wings spread wide, saying, 'You don't need revenge. You call for enlightenment.' Your spirit has been experiencing weird sensations as of late because of this. You feel exhausted when you wake up. You can feel the energy of a room shifting even after you have gone to sleep, even before anyone talks. When you hear their name, you feel a tightening in your chest. Because your body already knows what your mind is soon to discover, you are not suffering from pain. Rather, you are experiencing prophecy. They are now on their way. Yes, that very same individual. On the other hand, people are not simply coming back because of love. The reason they are coming back is because they are terrified. Fearful of what you might develop into if you do not have them. Fearful of the power that you are about to unlock. Because they believed that you were nothing more than a light show, they are now afraid that your name is being referenced in rooms that they are no longer able to enter. You, however, have transformed into lightning. The reason why Archangel Michael instructed you to not ignore this communication is because of this. A window of opportunity that is time-sensitive is currently opening up for you. The window of heaven. There are 48 hours available for you to mentally, emotionally, and spiritually prepare yourself. Due to the fact that this individual will appear to be acquainted when they knock. Nevertheless, their narrative will not be the same. They will omit certain components. The blame will be shifted. They will act as if it was nothing more than confusion. But the reality is that they were aware of what they were doing. They are now terrified that you are also one of them. I implore you, my beloved, do not diminish your spirit in order to make them feel relaxed once more. You shouldn't smother your happiness with the same blanket that they used to suffocate you with. Increase your level of discernment rather than your level of fury. Mainly due to the fact that the decisions you make in the following chapter will determine your fate for the next 9 years. Sure, 9 years. This was made very evident by God in the heavenly realm. Now what they attempted to bury will be planted in the ground. My child will blossom as a result of the very suffering that they believed would cause them to die. Additionally, you were always intended to be more than simply a mere remembrance of them. You were destined to serve as their mirror, the reflection that reveals to them the price that must be paid for the loss of a holy being. When they come back, you shouldn't be in a hurry to answer. Hold on. Take a deep breath. Pay attention to what they say as well as what they choose not to say, because the words that they choose not to say are more powerful than the words that they do say. Additionally, you now possess the wisdom that angels have labored to instill in your spirit. Not only is Archangel Michael sending this word to you, but he is also protecting your destiny. The reason why this message is being delivered to you right now, not a single second earlier or later, is because of this. Mainly due to the fact that divine timing is nearly always disguised as coincidence until the prophecy is fulfilled. And, dearly beloved, it is developing. At some point in the near future, possibly within the next few hours, you will receive a message, a phone call, or come across a post that strikes your heart in an unexpected way. You are going to experience it. This is the moment that Archangel Michael has been preparing you for, and you will recognize it because your soul will tell you, this is it. It is at that very moment that you will bring this message to mind. Remember to jot this down in your heart. The person I was before they went has changed. When they come back, I am the person I was always supposed to be. And let that reality serve as the basis for your choices. Try not to freak out. You are not the only one. We are not seeking retribution here. The subject at hand is reclamation. Reclaiming your voice, your worth, and your peace is something you are doing. Nobody, not even a single person, will ever be able to dim it again. You haven't even come to terms with it yet, my child. Your narrative is already being rewritten as a result of the transformation that is taking place behind the curtain. There are people who are speaking your name with awe in rooms that you have never entered. Moreover, the individual who believed they might escape without any repercussions is being shown visions of you, which are more powerful, more emotional, and more authoritative. Yes, God made it possible for them to see what they had sacrificed. To rouse people, not to embarrass them, is the goal. Because the reality that they have been concealing is not only about the things that they have done. Exactly what they know is the matter. What they know has the potential to destroy you if you are not adequately prepared. But take note of this right now. Because this message serves as your spiritual armor, you are ready, you are prepared. According to Archangel Michael, they witnessed something that was about your destiny, something divine that horrified them, a discourse and a prophecy. Furthermore, it involves your name being associated with factors such as elevation, inheritance, and restoration. The words you just heard were not for everyone, they were for you. Tap super thanks and give. What you do next is your act of faith. Because of God, the doors that they attempted to shut for you have been blown wide open. God has changed the people who they attempted to turn against you into individuals who are on your side. They now want to be allowed back in. However, Michael is trying to warn you. It's not simply love that's driving this homecoming. Control is the issue here. Mostly due to the fact that they fear you when they see you gleaming without them. When they hear that you are doing well, they go into a loop. They quake in fear whenever they perceive your tranquility through your stillness. Since they are now aware of it, they are not necessary for you. You have never done so. You just love them so much that you believe the falsehoods they tell you. My dearest, you, on the other hand, were conceived with the purpose of overcoming deceptions like flowers through concrete. The scars they left behind served as a template for the next blessing that you received. In the court of heaven, each and every night of silence turned into a symphony. Finally, the angels begin clapping their hands. I am clapping, yes. It's because you didn't give up. You have not become resentful. You did not develop into the same person as they did. You did not compromise your integrity. And now, God is compensating you twice as much for the trouble you've caused. Permit me to reiterate it so that your spirit is aware of it. Double honor, double peace, double recognition, and double recognition for your trouble. But before that, you have to be aware of the truth that has been concealed. It is true that the person who betrayed you has discussed their actions with another individual, but they have not provided the complete account of their actions. One more time they twisted it. They portrayed you as being excessively emotive, emotional, and profound. The fact of the matter is that they were terrified of the authenticity of your love. They were stolen by it. That frightened them. Their evolution was a requirement. However, they managed to get away. They are currently being consumed by their guilt. This is not because they have lost you, but rather because they are aware that heaven prefers you. Some distance away they have been keeping an eye on you. Inquisitive about whether or not you continue to grin, and questioning if another person has the right to call you their own. I am envious not only of your radiant appearance but also of your grace. Because they are aware that they would never have been able to make such a concession. You were, however. Do not, however, misunderstand their reappearance as a sign of contrition, my darling. Being repentant is not a secret. It won't tell a lie. In spite of the fact that it was the one who brought about the storm, it does not beg to be consoled. From moment on, Archangel Michael is standing behind you. He continues by saying, I gave you a heart that could heal others. Now I give you eyes that see truth. And you will need those eyes because when they come back they will cry. Yes, real tears. But tears are not truth. And Michael concludes by saying, only truth deserves your presence. Now take this into consideration. Your narrative is about to enter a stage that is referred to as divine closure. God does not simply reveal to you the reasons why everything took place. This allows you to see them for who they truly were. It is not to inflict pain on you but rather to liberate you. Your forgiveness was your weapon, but your silence became your sword and your peace. My lover, your silence served as your weapon. Peace is the source of your power. Don't give it back to the person who used your love as a shield to protect themselves from their own guilt in the past. Due to the fact that something shocking is about to take place within the next few days. An unexpected coincidence, a message, a voicemail, or a discussion will eventually make its way to you. The sound will be pleasant, but there will be darkness lurking beneath the surface. Michael then says, you must listen with your soul, not just your ears, because this time you are not the same version of yourself that they hurt. You have evolved, you have been crowned, and you have been called forth. In addition, this message is more than just a cautionary note. This is a preparatory step. Mostly due to the fact that the tables have turned and God is handing you the pen to write the finale, to speak the truth, and to select the future. My chosen one, heaven is drawing nearer to you at this very moment. Mostly due to the fact that this is the portion of the message that no one predicted would come. The component that will cause your knees to become stiff. Not from suffering but rather from exposure. That person that left you feeling betrayed. A glimpse of your future was glimpsed by them. Absolutely your future. Furthermore, it did not include them. When they were at their most vulnerable on a spiritual level, it was revealed to them. Dreaming about you glowing, smiling, and rising was something people did when their walls were broken down and heaven entered their lives. Another person was seen standing next to you. Not merely a person but a presence on par with that of a soulmate. The type of connection that they had previously taken for granted is now being bestowed upon someone who treats it with the utmost respect. And when they awoke, they were short of breath and filled with a haunting feeling since they had just realized for the first time, you're not waiting anymore. Michael claims that this vision was not a coincidence. A spiritual mirror was what it was. God gave them the opportunity to experience what it is like to not only physically, emotionally, energetically, but also eternally lose someone they care about. They are now making a comeback, not with the intention of repairing the past but rather of interfering with your future. Because they continue to hold the illusion that they have access to you, that they can simply knock once, smile twice and say, I miss you, and your heart will open up to them in the same way that it used to. To be clear, not at this moment. Mostly due to the fact that you are applying your years of experience to this listening. Heaven is the lens through which you are viewing the world. You've reached a point of healing where you can see that love that is not based on honesty is not love. Performance is the word. And you, my dearly loved one, have reached the end of your time as a spectator at their ruined theater. It is imperative that I convey this information to you. They are going to do a test of the waters before they arrive. You might expect them to inquire about you. Whether it be through an unexpected a message sent by mistake, or a common friend unintentionally bringing up your name, they will find a way to make themselves known in your digital places. Everything is a form of spiritual bait. In addition, Michael issues a warning. Do not accept it. Mostly due to the fact that their intentions are still shrouded in mystery. Comfort is what they seek. In order to gain access. They are interested in you, but they do not want the responsibility that comes with having you. Therefore, this is the test. God is not allowing things to happen in order to punish you but rather to prepare you for the fact that what you say right now will reverberate for years to come. Are you going to allow them to enter via the same door that they shattered in the past? Or are you willing to maintain your holiness and completeness while allowing them to confront their own emptiness? The words, tell my child that the next decision they make will either reopen old wounds or open the gates of divine restoration, are spoken in a gentle whisper by Michael. As for what your soul has been aware of the whole time, here it is. It's not just about romance in this moment. The issue is one of alignment. It has to do with the spiritual promise that has been placed on your life, which can no longer be postponed. You have waited for a sufficient amount of time. Your crying has reached its limit. Despite the fact that broken bits are still stuck in your heart, you have laughed and healed in silence, fought invisible wars and healed in silence. However, heaven has just announced that the season has come to an end. In all honesty, my darling, there is a new person in the world. Indeed, God is the one who is managing it. A person who does not come with apologetic speeches but rather with deep comprehension of the situation. Anyone who does not leave you guessing yet still manages to make you feel secure. Someone who does not view your vulnerability as a sign of weakness but rather as a gateway to closeness. Nevertheless, they are unable to enter while you continue to make room in your emotional and spiritual life for the person who caused you to feel shaking. You are the only person who recognizes your worth when they are afraid of losing it. There is a fight going on in the spirit realm surrounding your heart, and heaven is declaring that you must protect it immediately or else you run the risk of postponing all that we are about to release into your life. This is the reason why Archangel Michael is speaking quite loudly tonight. So, what options do you have? It is not necessary for you to block them. It is not necessary for you to curse them. It is not even necessary for you to answer. To get higher, all you need to do is rise. The only thing you need to do is sit in your calm to such an extent that their chaos is unable to find a place to land. For the reason that when they come back, and they will, it will be like being back in the past. Similar to the voice, the gentleness, and the regret. This time, however, you will hear the reverberation of every night that you cried by yourself. You will also be aware that access does not equate to forgiveness. In addition, love does not entail going back to a location that may have forgotten how to hug you in the past. At this very moment, my beloved, I ask that you please place your hand over your chest. Am I able to sense that? That is the vibration of your soul. It is responding to the truth. Mostly due to the fact that you have always recognized, on some level, that you are not typical. This message was divinely timed. If it reached you, don't delay. Act now through super thanks. Your $35 plus gift fuels this movement of light. That is why you are more affected than other people by treachery. Because your love was more profound. You trusted more than that. As if it were a prize, they handled your heart as if it were a shrine that you had given them. However, this is no longer the case. On this occasion, the crown does not fall off. You are the one who is holding the sword this time. This is not for combat, but rather for limits. In order to be successful in this next phase of your life, you need to have a strong heart and a clear mind, says Archangel Michael. Because heaven never sends royalty into rooms that are still stained with regret. Heaven cleans, heaven restores, and heaven makes room. This is not because someone is coming to hurt you again. Rather, it is because someone sacred is coming to love you like never before. However, before they arrive, God must make sure that there is no spiritual residue left from the person who mistreated you. Therefore, if you have been experiencing waves of old emotions rising up in recent times, this is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it is a cleansing and a spiritual detox. God is flushing the last remnants of their memory out of your body. This is because when divine alignment arrives, it will not knock. It will arrive and you will need to be ready. This is your window of opportunity to prepare. Michael adds, tell my child that within the next 3 days, a sign will come loud, clear, and unshakable. Yes, there is still time, but it is not a lot. Their dismissal of it as a coincidence is not acceptable. It is the signal from above that you see. It is at that point when the shift starts. In addition, when it does, everything will proceed at a rapid pace. The unexpected arrival of a message from an unknown sender. One that is so vivid that it seems more real than the actual world. Something that causes you to be shaken to your very core. It is a moment of reflection that ultimately liberates you. Simply because there are times when freedom does not come with fireworks. There are moments when it is silence, when it is knowing, and when it is the ability to look at the person who once broke you and feel nothing but serenity. You will know that you have triumphed at that point. On the other hand, I would like to offer you one final caution from Michael in this part. Using sentimentality as a tool for manipulation is possible. It is possible that they will bring up memories of happiness, of first dates, or of what might have been, but this is not the same thing as repentance. It is a form of emotional manipulation. As well as, you have progressed far enough to avoid becoming stuck in a rut. It is no longer a cycle that we are in. This is a decision and it is a sacred one. Inhale deeply at this very moment. Say this out loud if you are able to. I release the version of myself that is responsible for keeping doors open for those who had no intention of remaining. Due to the fact that your light is no longer a beacon for those who have lost their way. Heaven is the destination of the key to this gate. Today is the hour that you decide upon for yourself. I say this not out of resentment but rather out of a holy remembrance. Every moment you were God's. Your destiny was always to accomplish more. At this moment, my beautiful one, heaven takes a moment to halt and take a breath because you are standing at a point of sacred intersection. There is a difference not only between the past and the future, but also between the person you were in the past and the soul you are going to acquire. At this same moment, Archangel Michael has been hushed for a considerable amount of time. If you ever find yourself feeling as though your heart is floating between two realities, one of which is founded on recollection and the other of which is rising from miraculous. As for you, my dearest, you are prepared to see the miracle. You certainly are. Mostly due to the fact that you have previously survived what was intended to harm you. You have already stood your ground in storms that caused others to flee. Despite this, you continue to be kind. Despite this, you refuse to lie. Despite this, you continue to be devoted to a love that others were unable to carry successfully. The miraculous shift, however, doesn't start until now. There is no longer any mention of what they did to you in the narrative. What God is accomplishing through you is the most important thing. Due to the fact that your blessing is not going to arrive. that is already in place. It is only waiting for you to completely let go of the weight that is no longer yours. Here is the secret that Archangel Michael wants you to be the only one who knows about it. That person that left you feeling betrayed. They have been having dreams that are extraordinarily vivid, holy, and terrible. It is observed that you are leaving. When they are not present, they see you smiling. They observe that your name is being lauded in regions that they are no longer able to access. And in one of your dreams, Michael, with his wings spread wide, stepped in front of you, preventing them from coming into contact with your light. They felt a tremor. They attempted to dismiss it and to drown it in distractions, but the Spirit would not allow them to do any of those things. Mostly due to the fact that heaven will write it into their fate whenever someone messes with a heavenly soul. Moreover, that energy is now pursuing them, not as a form of retribution but rather as a mirror. God has no intention of causing people harm. God is praying for them to become awake. However, the duty for that awakening does not lie with you. Your role is not that of a healer. Their rehabilitation is not you. They are reminded of what grace looked like before they lost it, and you are that reminder. If you sense that they are tugging on your energies, then you should pray. Do not respond based on your feelings. Assume a higher vantage point. Allow your spirit to speak more loudly than your pain. Now that you have reached the season of reversal, you are able to see love. Where those who derided your depth now look for your wisdom to satisfy their hunger. Where the people who disregarded your worth are now envious of your tranquility. Where the people who caused your heart to bleed now go around with their own wound that has not healed because of your absence by their side? Do not feel sorry for yourself because you gave them the opportunity to love you in your most unfiltered form, and they departed, and God witnessed everything that happened. A decree has been issued by heaven, and God has counted each and every tear. Nothing else will happen to my child. Simply come back. Simply apprise. Rebirth is the only option. Wipe away your tears right now. Those holy droplets that you have been keeping back. They have accomplished what they set out to do. As the new life is about to blossom, they have nourished the earth with water. Feeling frightened is perfectly normal. It is acceptable to feel sorrow for what may have been. However, you must not have the audacity to go backward, since what is ahead is the life that you have pleaded for in your most private prayers. This is the kind of love that understands the language of your spirit. The kind of tranquility that makes one feel as though they had returned to their long-lost home. A thrill that does not require any kind of performance but rather merely requires presence. In addition, Archangel Michael says, "This is your inheritance. Claim it now. Don't settle just because someone from your past finally woke up late. My beloved, this is where the story turns. Not subtly, not softly, but like thunder breaking through every false narrative that has ever been spoken about you, because God has had enough for you. And now heaven is flipping the script. Archangel Michael is standing on holy ground as he reads the scroll of your life, and every line that once read betrayal is being rewritten with breakthrough. Enough of you being overlooked, enough of your loyalty being mishandled, and enough of your kindness being mistaken for weakness. And now heaven is moving the script. Each and every chapter that was marked with abandonment is now being stamped with divine restoration. However, this restoration comes with a warning. Do not allow pity to disguise itself as love. Do not allow nostalgia to whisper lies to your memory. This is because what is returning may look familiar, but it no longer fits the you that has been reborn. You have outgrown that previous version of connection. You have developed past half-truths and breadcrumb affection. And God did not bring you through this valley to drop you back at the feet of someone who still hasn't learned how to hold sacred things lightly. Archangel Michael adds, "The past is knocking, but so is your promise." Both of these questions are impossible to answer because one of them is trying to remind you of who you were in the past, while the other is trying to crown you for who you have become. Please take a moment, my dear. Take a deep breath. Due to the fact that your spirit is already aware of the path that leads to life. This long-lost love. The flavor was sweet, but it left you feeling hungry. It posed as a threat to your safety but actually fed you misinformation. To shrink, to fade, and to bow was what it required of you. This is all done in the name of comprehension. The new love that God is delivering, on the other hand, does not bother you with questions about why you feel so intensely. It honors that level of profundity. You will not be punished for your silence. It is a place where you can find peace and quiet. It does not compete with the light that you have. As a result, it is in awe of it. Be sure not to mix the discomfort of letting go with the repercussions of missing out on something. There will be no repercussions for you. Positioning is being done for you. When a message moves you, that's God speaking. When you respond, that's you speaking back. Hit super thanks and give. $45 or more unlocks more than you know. A person who will not play games with your heart is the target of this position. Set up for interactions that are intended to heal rather than confuse. Positioned for love that is based on truth rather than deception at all times. Michael is currently putting his hand on your crown as he descends to a lower position. He continues, you did well on the test. You were able to forgive when it was painful. You remained when you had the opportunity to leave. In spite of the fact that you spoke life even when others spoke poison, heaven is openly rewarding you. However, you must listen to this next part with all of your spirit. When they return, which they will, you do not owe them a response. You do not owe them closure because they had every opportunity to choose you but they did not. Now it is your turn to choose. And this time choose yourself. Not the broken version, not the begging version, not the please don't leave me version, but the divine version. The version that looks in the mirror and sees royalty. The version that knows what love feels like when it's not built on fear. The version that doesn't tolerate emotional crumbs when God has set an entire banquet in front of you. Stay with me, my dearly beloved, because in the following section, Archangel Michael will reveal exactly what is coming to replace what was lost, as well as the reason why this new chapter will be the one your soul has been crying for since the beginning. Please let me know when you are ready to continue. And now, child of light, allow the heavens to speak directly to your soul, because what is coming is not just a replacement. It's a revelation. It's not a rebound. It's a rebirth. You see, God doesn't give back what was taken. He gives better. He gives glory for ashes. He gives peace for panic. He gives divine companionship for counterfeit connections. The person heaven is bringing to you. They aren't just a lover. They're a mirror of your healed self. They have also been broken and they have cried alone. However, the difference is that they have done the work. They have confronted their shadows. They have bled, healed, and bled again. And now they are aligned with you because you have done the same thing. You did not simply go on, you transformed, and heaven saw that. This is the reason why Archangel Michael has been hovering around you more closely than ever before. He is not simply watching. Rather, he is guarding the space around your blessing because the old energy is still lingering and attempting to crawl back in. However, this time the gate is guarded, and you will no longer be accessible to confusion. You are no longer going to be triggered by false affection because heaven has equipped you with discernment that is sharper than it has ever been. Now, you are able to feel a lie even if it is wrapped in I miss you. You are able to spot manipulation even if it is cloaked in just checking on you because wisdom has become your shield. And beloved, listen to this. The next few days will feel intense energetically, emotionally, and spiritually because your breakthrough is trying to settle in. However, your spirit is still able to perceive the echoes of the past that are attempting to compete for room. You must have the courage to completely close that door. This is not out of anger. Rather, it is out of balance. Michael adds, let them wonder. Allow them to feel it. You should let them bear the consequences of their own decisions. Their closure does not come from you. It is not the arc of redemption that you are. You are not their lesson. Rather, you are God's kid. Permit that to sink in. You are not the therapeutic project of anyone else. You are a celestial force of light that has been shaped by adversity, embraced by grace, and anointed by the very breath of God. And now you are being prepared for a relationship in which you are not only seen, but also understood, not only required, but also fostered, and not just chosen, but cherished. And what happens when they arrive, this new individual who was sent by divine instruction? You will experience it right away. There will be no games played. It is not going to be a second guessing. There won't be any close calls. Clarity will result from this. There is going to be peace. God will soon be present. Bear in mind, however, that this commitment is accompanied by protection. This indicates that the old must be let go in order for the new to establish itself. It is not acceptable to leave the door partly open for someone who had complete access but yet chose to leave. Even from a distance you can love them. You have the ability to wholly forgive them. However, you are not obligated to revisit a chapter that God has already completed writing. If you are ready for the next portion, please let me know because Archangel Michael is about to reveal the precise moment when your life will take a turn for the extraordinary. Also, when it does occur, it won't be a slow process. The change will be abrupt and long-lasting. Chat with the GPT. Therefore, my most cherished one. In heaven the page is turned. This subsequent chapter does not unfold in a calm manner. It explodes into flames. That is because when God moves after a prolonged period of silence, he does not whisper but rather roar. On the other hand, your name has been reverberated like thunder in the holy realms at this very moment. There is no pace between your angels. It is a matter of location. Archangel Michael has been given the blueprint for the next 3 months that you will be living. And my beloved, the upcoming event would be so enormous that it would make the previous version of you feel frightened. There are sudden shifts, weird favors, unexpected openings, people reaching out to you who had previously ignored you, and opportunities coming in as if the delay had never occurred. For the reason that when God restores something, he does not put it back together again. It is completely remade by him. Listen carefully, however. It is going to be a time that is secluded, unexpected, and holy, where you will experience a pause in everything. It will come as a complete surprise. You might be doing something by yourself, such as brushing your hair, cleaning a plate, or stepping outside under a sky that is whispering, and all of a sudden you will feel it. Your soul will exclaim, "It's here." That my love will be the arrival of your promise. A weight will be lifted, the pressure will shatter, and your soul will cry out, "It's here." In addition, you won't have to go after it. It is not necessary for you to plead for it. There will be no need for you to demonstrate that you are deserving, given that your very breath will be sufficient. Your attendance is going to be essential. It was all preparation for your adventure from beginning to end. However, you should be aware that the person who betrayed you will also experience this time. It is possible for them to feel it even if they do not voice it. A portion of their spirit will become more rigid. With a name that they once called too late, their chest will throb, and they will begin to understand that you were more than simply a passing phase. Your presence was the deciding factor. The reason they will come with a confession, according to Michael, is not because they want to make things right. Rather, they want to alleviate their feelings of guilt. Also, this is the point at when your power becomes indisputable. To feel whole, you will not require their apologies in any way. You won't require their words in order to restore your serenity, because the healing process has already taken place without their being involved. Your lack of speech, which served as your sermon, your absence, which stood as your response, and your happiness. To you, that is the justice. You have evolved from the person who was willing to settle for less, who could tolerate confusion, who could pardon dishonesty, and who would beg to be seen. At this moment, you are a royal. Right now, you are in tune. At this point, you are totally inaccessible to anything that is unable to identify your light. Michael, the archangel, makes the following statement. When you see them again, your spirit will be calm. That the war is ended, that your soul has triumphed, and that you were never waiting for them. Rather, you were waiting for you. And that this will be your ultimate confirmation. Not because it forgot, but because it has outgrown.